What's going on, everybody? You guys know who I am. I'm Jay with DCA Adventure. I'm back again with another video, and today we're going to keep it short and sweet, and we are going to talk about Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum, what to expect in the next few days. Some major moves are going to be coming, but if you guys like our content, please like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Also, if you would like to have access to the DCA trading script and any of the private channels that we have in the DCA Discord, please join our Patreon. My tier is Trading with a View. By joining the Patreon, you will get the DCA trading script. You will get access to the private channel in our Discord where I occasionally post signals, tips and tricks, my overall outlook on the market. Also, guys, we do have quite a few other Discord channels that you can join, and those all will be listed down in the description. We have a little of everything for everyone. If you're into mining, you're into trading, you want to learn how to build a brand, we have a collective of all kinds of things. Also, shout out to Doge Lord Apparel. Use coupon code free shipping and you will receive free shipping on all of your orders. And with that being said, guys, let's jump right into the charts. I'm going to talk about Bitcoin first and what is going on. We had the death cross a couple weeks back in the Discords. Everybody knows that I've been talking about it. They've seen my strategy and seen what I'm looking at, what I'm planning on doing. But we're going to be having some moves coming up here, and I want to talk about the important areas that we need to be looking at, you guys, over the long term here. Everybody knows that I like to scalp trade. I will get my overall view of the market, and then I'll try to trade the in between. But this is going to be my overall. This is what I'm looking to trade on my other account. Now, it's a good idea, guys, to have several different trading accounts. That way you can hedge against different things and you can do different things. You know, the narrative with Bitcoin across the board, you know, I think it's 50-50. Everybody's mixed. A lot of people are saying that we're breaking down. A lot of people are saying that we are breaking up. So let's, you know, we're going to go over both scenarios, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm planning on doing. If it be something that you're interested in doing yourselves, then I would suggest you do that. Always use a stop loss. Trade at your own risk, for sure. Leverage trading is one of the fastest ways to make money in these markets, and it is also the fastest way to lose it. So if you are not entering and exiting properly, or you are using poor risk management, then you're going to lose it all, and you're going to lose it all quick. So that being said, guys, I trade on Bybit Leverage Trading Exchange. Link to that will also be in the description. If you guys join with my link and you deposit $100 and trade with it, DM me, let me know. I can go in and check it out. And if that is the case and you did deposit money and traded, we will give you access to the script. Alright, so we'll pull up the daily chart here on BLX, Brave New Coin. It's the index I use when looking at Bitcoin. Every day when I decide that I'm going to trade or I'm looking to trade, the first thing I do is I scroll out onto the bigger time frames and get an overall idea of what the market is doing and what's going on. And then I just scroll from that time frame and I just keep going down to smaller. So, you know, next I'll look at the 12, 6, 8, whatever you want, however you guys have it set up. Scroll down into the 1 hour chart where I like to do my scalp trading, and I will, that's how I kind of find my entries and exits accordingly. Okay, so we are in a very, very interesting place with Bitcoin right now. We did have a death cross back here, March 26th, 27th time frame. As you see, we crossed over here. We had already made a new low over here, and then had the actual cross here. And we did see a little bit of a drop there. Let me get some of these other MAs off there so we can just focus on the important right now. Okay, so you seen that we crossed right here. We did get a little drop from that. Nothing too crazy like you typically see with death crosses. This potentially could be a fake out, and if this is the case, then this will be the second death cross fake out we have had in Bitcoin's history. This is something that does not happen all the time. Death crosses and golden crosses take forever to play out. I like trading moving averages. It's super easy to do. It's easy money. Just go to your daily chart and you'll pull your 50, your 100, and your 200 day up, and those are what you want to keep looking at on your daily chart. You can even look at your 3-day chart with those on there, and we will flip that, and I will show you guys some things that I'm looking at. As you can see here, we have a nice golden cross. This was back in April. This is when the slower moving average, or I'm sorry, the faster moving average, the 50 crosses the slower, the 200 day. And we did get the nice jump up here. Now, you can see that when we did have a death cross back in October of 2019, and we got a nice little drop out of that. And then it almost looked like a nice, almost a double bottom there before we shot back up and rallied. But I've been telling the guys in the Discord that normally when we death cross and we have these rallies, what happens usually is we will get to cross here, okay, 200 day, cross the 50 over top of it. So we ended up getting the drop, but then we rallied back up to the 200 day, and we bounced off of it 2 to 3 times, came up and tested that thing before we actually seen a nice drop. So you could say that the 200 day is acting as a type of resistance. So one important area that we need to be paying attention to, guys, is this 200 day moving average right here, and it is in the area of 8,000. So 8,000 is a key area of resistance to beat. Why is it a key? Well, first off, we do have resistance starting into the 7,800 up to the 83, 8,400 area. So with that being said, that's number one. And then you look over here and you got the 200 day sitting right on top of it. So that acts as resistance. So not only do we have a bunch of resistance over here if you're looking left on your chart, but then you have the 200 days. So it doesn't make it any better, guys, that we have the resistance there and the 200 day moving average. But 8K is definitely going to be a very important area to break. Not only is that in an important area, but in order for us to be considered changing the trend and being in an uptrend, we got to break the 10,500 area. The $10,500 area is the biggest place where I am looking. Once we break the 8K, obviously I would enter a long position, but between the 8K and the 10,500 area is where I would be looking to see whether I should further long or if we should be getting ready to reject and enter short. I feel that if we don't break the 10.5 area soon, that Bitcoin could be in trouble for a while. We could see the next 6 to 8, maybe even a year from now underneath 10.5K. So it is a big area to get over and break through. And as you can see, we do have a lot of resistance here in that area, and here too. So hopefully, we can break through the 10,500 area. We can break through it and then come back down to it and test it as support, and it becomes a new support. Hang on one second, guys. Okay. Oh, no. Sorry about that. Oh, wife needed my wallet. Okay, so we were at the having to break the 10.5 area for Bitcoin to be considered changing the trend, making a new higher high, because we've been doing nothing but just making higher lows right now, which is I guess is okay. I'm really looking forward to breaking through the 8K, and then I will start to get excited. Obviously, once we reach those areas, I will be glued to the charts. I will be looking if we reject off the 8K, which, in my personal opinion, I feel like we are going to reject off the 8K somewhere in there. I do have short positions laddered between 8,000 and 8,200, I do believe, and then my stop is not far behind the 200-day moving average. You guys can scroll back on your daily chart and you can see that every time that we tapped it, I mean, every time we got up to it, it rejected, and it usually rejected pretty hard. So I'm counting on us doing that exact same thing. So that's what you want to be looking for in the bearish scenario, that we go up and we test the 200-day moving average. Now, in the Discords, guys, we did trade the 50-day moving average. I felt like it was possible that we have a run and we test the 50-day moving average, which is my blue line right here. I figured that we were going to test this and that we would probably reject. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we still can't break through that 50-day moving average, but it was a good play. I did set the signal out to the Discord. We did go short in the 7,400. I think I got a short at 7,450, 7,440, somewhere in the area, and we actually did that multiple times. We was able to catch a couple shorts in the 7,400 and exit in profit around the 7,000 to 7,100 area. So we did have, 2 or 3 really decent trades right there just off the 50-day moving average, guys. And this is why I trade these moving averages, is because it's easy. It's easy to predict. It's easy money. Either you reject there or you don't. The higher the time frame, the more weight you put into these moving averages, guys. If you are a scalp trader, you like to scalp and trade the quick in outs on the smaller time frames, then use faster moving averages. Maybe drop down to a 5, 26, something like that in a 50 period. Then you can put a little bit more weight into those moving averages on the smaller time frames. But for your overall outlook, you want to be using the larger moving averages. I think it helps. That too, and a lot of other big traders are looking at the same moving averages. So, you get enough people looking at the same thing. You guys have heard me say it 100 times that, things can play out and will start to play out just because everybody's doing the same thing. So, also, you guys can see here that we are kind of stair-stepping our way back up, which is good, and I'll draw a trend line here and show you. And you guys can draw this same trend line. I would recommend drawing it. But you guys know from the video that we did on trend lines that trend is your friend, okay? And your trend line will always be valid as long as we don't have a candle break the trend line and close underneath of it. So with this trend line being right here, so far, guys, we have not broken and closed underneath the trend line. It's okay to wick down underneath of it, but as long as you don't get an actual close underneath that trend, then it'll still be valid. So we come back down and test that trend line again. You know, it would be a wise and an educated decision to possibly put a long position in if you know, you're at the charts when we test this, or you know, you could limit order your position there and put you a stop underneath the trend line, but you know, we could wick down and stop you there before it actually comes back up and continues the upward trend. So I always try to put my stops deep. You know, it's hard to stomach sometimes taking that loss if you do get stopped out because of having it so deep. But at the same time, if you're not using a huge chunk of your wallet, then and you're doing proper risk management, it shouldn't be no big deal, guys. I mean, it's you know, we're 50%. We're either right or we're wrong. Either it goes up or it goes down. So again, my personal opinion, I am looking for this to go down, but I'm going to hedge against it, and I'm going to be ready for both ways, just in case. That way I can play either side of the field and be on the profit side no matter what happens. And that's why you guys need multiple accounts. Okay, it's just trading with one, you're only limited. You get stuck in a bad trade, then you're stuck when you could have been on your second account, riding the big spike to the upside. You know, you just never know. So it's easier to do this, guys, with two or three. I have, you know, 5, 6 different trading accounts, but I've been trading for almost 4 years. So with Bitcoin, so it's a little bit different for me than it would be for new guys just getting into the space. But if you're new, you know, don't even be using real money or real Bitcoin right now anyways. You guys should be still on testnet, getting used to everything. So our biggest places we're looking for is the 8K mark. If we do break this 8K, then I will be ready to long at that mark, and from there I will be looking right up to the 9,000, 9,400 area before taking my profits. This will be the next key area that we'll have a little bit of a fight with. You know, we do got some decent resistance here, so we could put up quite a bit of a little fight there. At that is right at the 9,200. So between 91 to, you know, up into here even. Yeah, about 9,200. I'd be looking for. I'd be taking my profit there, because we could also have a run and we could blow past the 200 day and actually run up here and hit this line of resistance and then have a huge dump. So if we break the 8K, I'm going to long, and I'm going to try to get us back up here to 9,200, 9,300. That'll be the area I'm watching again. If we break this, then you know, we'll make it back up to 10,500 pretty quick like. And if we break 10,500, you guys, we will go back to $14,000 so quick you won't even know what the hell's going on. And it's very possible that could happen. If we break 10.5, then it's there's going to be a lot of money pouring into the markets, and Bitcoin's going to be making some very, very fast moves. So you guys just got to be prepared. Typically for a move like that, and right now with how things are set up, you know, it's far away before I think we're gonna see the 10,500. I think we need to be getting there here shortly, and try to break it to, you know, get Bitcoin back up there where it needs to be. But if not, then you need to be prepared for what's going to happen on the crash and the dump. So I'm definitely going to be looking to short the 8,000 area. I want to say that this is a typical death cross, and we're going to have our rally back up to the 200-day moving average. We're going to hit that thing, and we might come down a little bit, come back up and hit it again, and then I think we're gonna dump, and we're gonna dump hard. And when we do dump, I would like to see, the first area I'm going to be looking at is our 6,500 area to be taking my profits. And that might be a good place. We might hold right there at that area. We do have all the way down to almost 6K. We have decent support there at the 6,000 mark right in here. Change this line to green. Ain't confusing anybody. So, looking at the daily time frame here, we got a nice bit of support down here at 6,000. So we break here and we break this trend line. And remember, guys, with these trend lines, you got to look at it like there's a bunch of buyers right here. This trend line, this is where everybody's buying at. So eventually, we're going to start running out of buyers. Each time we come down here and test it, we're picking up everybody's buys, and eventually we're going to come down and pick it up, and there ain't going to be nobody's buys down there because we've done chewed up all of them, and we're going to break through it. And when we break through, guys, I would like to see that drop to $6,000. That would be a very nice shorting opportunity. That'd be a lot of money you'd make there. That's the low end. Should be looking about the 6,500 first. If we come down and we hit 6,500, that'll be the first area where I will have my take profit orders. Look left, old resistance will become new support. So as you can see, this was resistance here for us. It ended up being support. So it should still act as support until it doesn't. And support works the same as your trend lines. Each time we come down and we test that support line, we're dipping into the buyers, and we're pulling buys out. And then eventually, we pulled buy out here, we got him here, we got a bunch here, we got some through here, and now there is no more people buying at that area. So what's going to happen? We're just going to break through it, and we're going to have the dump. So I'm expecting something along them lines. I would like to see us get past the 50-day and at least test the 8K. I think that needs to happen for the typical way we move on a death cross. It would be nice to see that. It would show more confirmation to me, especially if we do reject off of that 200-day moving average, the 8,000 area. And like I said, guys, we may come up there and hit that thing a couple times before we actually reject and have the big dump down. So it is something to be watching. If we break the 50-day, I am shorting right now. I'm in an active short. But if we break the 50-day, I will not be doing any trading in between the 50 and the 200-day moving average. I'll kind of just be sitting on my hands and watching and waiting and see what Bitcoin's going to do. Because obviously, we got to have big volume come in on these moves if we were to break the 200-day moving average, and then even if we made it up into the 9,000s up here to this next line of resistance, 9,200, we are going to need a shit ton of volume, guys, to get us broke through there before we can even think about the 10,500. But the most important key areas where I'm looking for before I get super excited and bullish on Bitcoin again is breaking that 10,500. Obviously, anytime we dip down low and we have these big dump, guys, I'm loading up on my personal bag for Bitcoin. It's definitely a good buy. Even right now, Bitcoin is a good buy, just because of it's with the Fed pretty much turning on the printing presses and the money that they're pumping into our economy. It's just going to cause inflation to everything, which in return makes our dollar worth even less. And the more people start to understand that, the more people that get that we really can't rely on the fiat, the cash, the US dollar system, I think then we will start to get the flow into the cryptocurrency. And just from the last couple months, I have seen a big increase on members joining the Discords and the YouTube and stuff like that. We're getting a lot of people every week. Every week we're getting 10 to 15 guys joining just in the Discords alone. So for us, that's a decent amount of people to be joining every week, especially if they become premium members. It helps us out a ton when they do that. Makes us want to do this even more. But we're going to go back. I want to show you what would happen if this was all just a fake out and this death cross here was to actually be the fake out, and we actually have a golden cross and we take off. But as you can see here, before we scroll back to that, we'll look at our script here. This is a DCA oscillator. This is a part of our trading script. The other part, overlays your candles. I do not have them on right now, but as you can see, guys, we are nearing the oversold mark on the daily. So we could, just because we're getting to the oversold mark, guys, does not mean we're automatically going down, because once we get into the oversold, we can still definitely go higher. But I would like to think that we get up here to the oversold, that would be pushing us up in here to the 200-day, and we might see something like we have over here, where we get two decent momentum waves. We end up with a nice trigger wave, and then or a nice root wave, and then a nice trigger wave, and we actually start coming back down. I will flip over to Heiken Ashi candles while talking about the script and looking at it, because it is, you guys know this, it is coded for Heiken Ashi. Nefarious, I'm sorry, I still have not had time to learn how to properly pronounce that, but I promise it's coming. I will get it for you. But yes, we do got the money flow index. It is starting to get up there to the 0 mark, guys, which is super good for the daily. It does mean that if it does pop into the green, when we get up there above the 0, that is a good sign that money is flowing into the asset. But that doesn't mean that we still can't have a big drop, guys. Even though this money wave is coming up, thinning out, and we are looking to cross 0 any time now, any day we're going to cross it. We could do exactly like I talked in the upward scenario that could happen with Bitcoin. We break that 200-day and we go straight through 8K to 9,200, and we break through that and we get up to 10,500, and then that's where we could make it all the way to there, and then run into some serious issues with resistance, lack of volume, and we could see a nice dump. But you can see that we are nearing the oversold. So if we get up there into that oversold, I would like to think that we would have tested the 200-day. We did get some nice trades, guys, though, off that 50-day. If you'd have been in the Discord, I did cash out a trade. 400. It was over 400% on my first one, and then I had 2 trades that my stop loss got triggered, but I had my stop so deep into profit. Both trades were 100% trades. I had my stop placed at the 100% mark. So guys, this is one of the best times to be trading Bitcoin, and especially if you're at home doing nothing, get in the Patreon group, guys. Come in and join the premiums in the Discords. Learn how to make supplemental income on the side while you're not working right now. It's I'm not saying it's easy, but once you get a good strategy built around yourself and what works for you, It is easy. I mean, it's you know, you could have sat back like I did and said, okay, we had a nice death cross, but we are creeping back up or getting close to that 50-day moving average. I bet we're going to test it, and we'll probably reject. Your chances are 50-50. So what I do, I put a couple of short positions at the 50-day, put my stop loss a little bit up above it, we gave the signal to Discord, and we ended up with 3 or 4 really nice trades out of that. And we're not done yet. We're not in the clear yet. We can still break through the 50-day. It was just we caught it right when we tested. I had been watching it for over a week now. I was totally expecting it to happen. So we can't even fully say that we have rejected off the 50-day yet. We could still push right through it, no problem, and test that 200. But I'm just showing you guys how I made money betting on it to go down when we were actually in a small little uptrend if you're zoomed in. Because technically we are not in an uptrend yet, you guys. We need to break the 10,500 area for that to be a valid statement. If you're just zoomed in looking at this area, then yes, you could say that this is an uptrend, but not overall, you guys. So we're going to scroll back here to 2015, and I want to show you guys what the fake out looked like, what it did, and where we are at today, what it looks like today could be for us. Come on, where are you at, 2015? There we go. Stretch them candles way out there so you guys can see them. Okay, so we'll just back her right up. Let's go back to our last death cross. Okay, and that was this area back here in 2014. So you can see that we death crossed here. Yeah, wait. Oh, let's go back to regular candles. Sorry, guys. I've reset the chart. When looking at this kind of stuff, I like to have the regular candles on. That way I know exactly where my open and close are at. Exactly what the moving averages were doing. Okay, so back in 2015. That's not 2015, that's 2018. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so back in 2000, well, I guess that was 2014, we had the death cross. Okay, so we got the nice dump there. And then what happened? We came back up. We tested the 50-day. Sound familiar? Okay, we did that. That's what we're doing right now. So we had our death cross. We came down. We came up. We tested this 50-day. So I would have went short there. We would have had a nice position in there. We'd have came up, tested that 50 again. I would have actually tried to have shorted that. I would have probably gotten stopped out, seeing that we broke the 50. Once the price would have got above the 50-day moving average, I would have longed above the 50. I would have caught it up here at the 200, and this is where I would have taken my profit, and I would have been looking for the short. And as you can see, we tested the 200, and actually broke above it a few different times, a bunch of different times right through there, and eventually it rejected, couldn't hold, and we came back down using the 50 now as support, and it valid support all the way through, tested the 200 again, come in, and we actually had a golden cross here, which didn't work out. This was a fake golden cross, and then it ended up coming back down into another death cross. And you guys can actually see right before the death cross actually happens, you usually will get nice little dumps beforehand, and you'll set a nice deep low there before the actual dump. So, and if you're looking at this in 2 days, how today's is, we're kind of, it's close, and I'll show you over here where we had the actual fake out and how close everything really actually is to us. But you can see we did have another death cross there. We came down, got close to the 50, we broke here, got damn close to that 200. And since it didn't test it and it didn't get all the way up there, I'd have been looking for shorts again in that situation. Definitely once we come back down to the 50 and you see that it's not acting as support and we break it, as soon as we break to the underside of it, I would have went short right there. This is an easy way to trade these moving averages, guys. Yes, it sucks trading on the day if you like to be an active trader and you feel like you gotta, but you guys don't want to over trade. You will lose over trading it. Running these moving average trades and being patient and planning it out, I'm telling you, once you get into the grind of doing this, I'm starting to like it the more I do it. I really do like scalp trading, you guys, but at the same time, here the last month or so, I've been trading long term, and my long term portfolios are looking pretty nice. I mean, it's almost effortlessly done because I set my stuff, I set it, and I forget it. And it's nice too that you can predict and you can be ready a lot easier and better than you can if you're scalp trading. Scalp trading is just, sometimes it can be too fast and you make the wrong decisions there. But I've definitely been liking trading the longer term. I think it's a lot easier for newer guys too to trade long term. But anytime that we flip over underneath any moving average and it's acting as support and resistance, you can nail these trades down. Okay, so this is our fake out area right over here. This is where I think we are at, what we are doing. So we had our death cross right here. Okay. And if you look over here to the left, we already had set our lower low before the cross. Okay. So then we had to cross. Price dumped a little bit. We came back up, tested the 50 a couple times. You can see in there that it did reject that 50 a few times. And then we actually broke through. And we tested the 200 and then broke through. And when we did that, I mean, it pushed a hell of a freaking jump there. We can even measure that right off the 200 day. That's over 100% move right there. So that's not using leverage, guys. So if you'd have been 10x, then you would take 100 times 10, and that's what you would have been sitting at with profit right there, just off of that one run. So we death crossed. We came down. We came and we busted through everything, and then we had the golden cross right here. It straight faked us out. Boom, boom. That's never happened with the death cross like how it is happening right now. So once we broke through that, you see that we did come down, and now that 50 was acting as our support. until it didn't. Okay, so we came up, we came down, snagged some buys, came up, came back down, snagged some more buys, keep going, and we did it again. We came down again, snagged a bunch of buys, went back up, and then we got to here, no more buys left. So what happened? We break through there. As soon as we would have broke that 50-day moving average, guys, be looking to short. You would have caught a nice short right there, came back up, hit the 50, and I would have been looking at this as resistance until it breaks through. So you want to wait for confirmation to make sure that it is getting rejected before you enter your short. But as you see here, it didn't reject, and we ended up breaking through that 50 again. Came down, tested it as support, came back up, came back down, and now it acted as nice support all the way through until it jumped up again. And then you can see that it's acting as nice support. We did break. As soon as we broke underneath here, I'd have been looking to short you guys, and that's one hell of a short right there, down to the 200-day. That would have been freaking, that's picture perfect trade right there, guys. It does not get any easier than that. I actually would have put my take profit over here, right where this wick is. I would have put half my profit there, and then the other half right down where we have more touches for the support. And if I would have went down where we had the most touches, it would have missed me by $50 or $60. So I know it sounds stupid, guys, but I always try to look over and see where the highest wick was, because a lot of times when you're charting, you will notice that your wicks will damn near match up. Where one stops, one will start going the other direction. Where one came down, one come up. I mean, a lot of times they line up just perfect. But I do that to ensure that I'm going to get my take profit order hit. But I think that with how we did our fake out there, it could be the same scenario, guys. We could have had our death cross. We made our lower low before the cross, just like 2015. Okay, we came down. I mean, the exact same thing. Made the lower low before the cross. Boom, made the cross. Came down a little bit. Now we're testing this 50-day, and if we break through here and it looks the same setup, everything is the same. How it was in 2015, guys. So this might be exact, and it may not be. This may be our second fake out ever in Bitcoin history. It may only stay at one, and we may reject and just maybe shoot up to the 200-day, reject, and then dump. I hope we dump, guys. Any time to buy cheaper Bitcoin is a good time to buy Bitcoin for sure. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on our fake outs. We can scroll over here to a 3-day chart on the BLX. A 3-day death chart. Those are very they're not common, but they're something you want to pay attention to, because you can put a lot of weight into the moving averages on a 3-day chart. So you can see here we had a death cross, and that death cross ended up with, we crossed there. Yeah, a 50% dump from there to there. So once that crossed, if you would have took that short right there, that would have been a hell of a trade. If you were 10, 25xing on Bitcoin and it moved 50%, I mean, come on, guys, that's life-changing opportunities. And if you got somebody who's looking at this kind of stuff all the time, and giving you a heads up, you know, it's can change your life, that is for sure. And then you can see over here, guys, that so we had the death cross, we came back up, we tested the 50-day. When we got to here, I would have been looking for the short. Not only is the 50-day moving average acting as a resistance, but then you have resistance right there as well. So I would have been looking for a picture perfect short. I would have waited for my confirmation, seen that it broke through. One candle broke right through it. And as soon as it would have went up above, I would have went long. and you would have ended up catching this nice long, I would have taken my profit at the 200-day mark, and or the 200 period on the chart here, because one, it acts as resistance, and two, we have resistance over here. But as you can see, it blew through it. So, I may have taken my profit here and then re-entered once we broke back above the 200 period moving average. I probably would have went back and long again, but I definitely would have taken my profit at the 200-day. And once it broke above it, then I would have entered long again, rode it back up here, and then probably took my profit at the 50-day, even though it could have caught this whole other short right there. But we have a ton of resistance. The 50 usually acts as support, or I'm sorry, we have a ton of support there. The 50 acts as support once you're above it. So just from how, what I know and how I've learned how to trade the moving averages, that's what I would have been looking for. If I wouldn't have been able to be at the PC at the time, I would have had to take profit order sitting there. So yes, it would have tagged me and it would have got me out right there, and I would have missed that whole move. But guys, the market's not going anywhere. The opportunities are not going anywhere. They will always be here. Don't overtrade. Don't freak out if you miss a decent little run. There will be plenty more. Just stay strategic, methodical about every single thing that you do, especially if you are not working right now, guys, and you're at home and you're trading and making this supplemental income. Everything's got to be methodical. You can't go willy-nilly and start throwing Bitcoin around, or you're going to lose all of it, I'm telling you. Another thing to be paying attention for, guys, is, okay, I showed you the death crosses and how they react on a 3-day chart, but look at us here. Our 50 period is pointing down towards the 200 period. Yes, we are kind of flattened out through here. So, we could be ranging out as far as the moving average goes, but if this crosses, guys, be watching this on your 3-day chart. If this crosses, we're dumping big time. And first place I'm looking for is that the 4100 area. A lot of people probably are going to give me shit about saying it could go that low, but I mean, it's right there in the chart, boys and girls. It's right there in the chart. That's what the chart's telling me, so that's what I'm doing. You have an area of 4100 all the way down to $3,300 area right there if you're looking at this on a 3-day chart. A good spot, another good spot full of support is that 61 to 6,000, like we talked earlier on the daily. This, if we do end up getting a 3-day death cross, this will be the first area of support that I will be looking at to take my profits. But if we break that, then you have some old resistance that should be support, and then you have actual support. Right down here, old resistance, new support, should carry over as support over here until we break under it. Then it will act as resistance again. So that's what I'm looking at on the 3-day chart for Bitcoin. Let's scroll over to Ethereum real quick, guys. I'm running super low on time, so I gotta kind of get this in here. ETH USD, Kraken, Coinbase. Alright, guys, on a 3-day, we'll just start at the 3-day since we are here on Ethereum. Take a look at our oscillator. Let's move over to the Heiken Ashi. Okay, so, oh, boys and girls, look at this. Look, would you just look at it? Just have a look right now. Okay, so we got a death cross here on the Ethereum 3-day. We did get a nice little dump out of that. Come back up through. Busted through the 50, tested that 200 again, came back down. But look at this, guys. We got the 50 period and the 200 period riding on top of each other. Kind Could be making some moves, could be making some moves, could be making a golden cross, could be making a death cross. What is it going to do? I don't know. It looks scary. It looks scary. That's all I can say. We are set in a position that it could potentially be a golden cross. Draw us a nice little trend line. Let's see what we got going on here. Boom, boom. We'll go back to the... So if we're looking at this oscillator and seeing what it's telling us. Money flow index wave does look like it is pointing upwards. We did not quite make it to the overbought area, but it did get down pretty far. I don't know, guys. Maybe be looking for the death cross. If we do get a 3-day death cross on Ethereum, which I really don't think. You look at the 3-day right here, we have a double bottom, guys. So that's a very bullish move for Ethereum. It's really close to a double bottom anyway. Boom and boom. So Ethereum could actually be gassing up for a takeoff. That one's kind of hard looking at it on a 3-day chart because the moving averages are so close. But it's something to be aware of now, guys. Now you know. Looking at Ethereum on a 3-day chart, we could be having the death cross or a golden cross because they're right there. We are kind of sitting in the middle right now on the oscillator. Guys that are using the DCA script, when we are in the middle like this, there is no momentum waves really showing, and there's no clear direction. Sit on your damn hands. Don't be entering in a dumbass trade, foolishly losing all your money, because that's what's going to happen. Sit on your hands until there is clear direction, until the oscillator is showing you, hey, this is clear direction, and showing you confirmation. Whatever it is, the strategy you are using, make sure you got confirmation. Okay. Let's scroll down to the daily on Ethereum, see what it's looking like. Okay, so on the daily, we are showing potential death cross. Okay, we did have the nice golden cross back here in February, which we did get the nice spike up. Actually, I wouldn't even say we topped out at the cross. Okay, so we got the death cross back here. We dumped. What happened? We tested the 50, came up, tested the 200, actually broke above the 200, but came right back down, smashed below it. As you can see here, we came through, tested the 50, we broke through it, we tested that 200, smacked us in the face, dropped us right back down, but it stopped right in the middle, right there, because we have a decent bit of support through here. And then it really took off. And once it broke through that 200-day moving average, guys, I would have been looking to long that all day as soon as we broke above that moving average. And that would have been a hell of a nice trade there, too. You would have ended up with a 60% move alone without leverage right there on Ethereum, guys. That's a hell of a move. That's a hell of a move. But on the daily, let's go back here, regular candles. Okay, on the daily, you do see that we did. Now, you could have done like how we did on Bitcoin, guys. I don't trade Ethereum that often, but you could have done the exact same thing. When I gave that signal to short at the 50-day moving average, you could have done the same thing here. We tested that 50-day moving average, and we tested the 200-day moving average. Both are acting as resistance right now, guys. So this could go either way. It really could. There's bullish signs and there's bearish signs. You got to set yourself up for what's going to happen both ways. It's way easier that way. We are getting up into the oversold area, so that's a bearish signal there. But just because we are in it does not mean we can't still go higher. If we do go higher, guys, I would be looking for the $216 mark right away. If we can break through this 180 resistance, so we break out 180 resistance, we're definitely going to be seeing the 200s for sure. And it would take a decent amount of support there to break at 200. But if we can break that 200, we'll get up into the 240s and then the 270s. So keep an eye on Ethereum, guys. If you like trading Ethereum, you can make a lot of money off of Ethereum. Some of the bigger trades I've done have been on Ethereum, and just the little price movements on Ethereum can actually gain you a ton of money. So it's up to you guys. I don't know. Bitcoin and Ethereum and possibly Bitcoin Cash are the only ones that I would actually recommend really trading with leverage. All other altcoins, if you are not an experienced trader, leave them the F alone when it comes to leverage trading. You will get wrecked because altcoins are not as liquid as Bitcoin is, and Bitcoin's not even as liquid as Bitcoin is. You know what I'm saying, guys? It doesn't take that much money to move these markets. So if you're screwing around with some small cap altcoin, and it takes one person who has a decent amount of money to fuck up your whole entire portfolio. So do yourself a favor, guys. This is not financial advice, but stay away from altcoins on leverage. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash is pretty good to leverage trade with, and they just had their halving too, and for nothing but crickets. I haven't heard no big moves, no big dumps though either. So just stay alert, guys. Stay frosty. You know what I mean? Keep on keeping on. Make sure you keep an eye on everything that we talked about today. If we do end up getting we get the death cross on Ethereum. Let me get this off of here. We get the death cross on Ethereum. The first couple places I would be looking for if I shorted to take my profit. So if we're up here and we shorted, yep, the first place I'd be looking is right around in the 150 area. And then from there, you got a little bit of support at the 116, 100, down to $78. And we break that, guys, and it's all the way back down to freaking nothing. If we break the $70-some mark, Ethereum's in some very, very bad shape. But guys, I am sorry I'm running low on time. It's been super hectic with the kids being out of school and doing all the homeschooling, and then try going back to work, and everything's just been chaotic for me the last couple days. I would like to get a couple videos done with introduce some new indicators to the new guys. I'd like to talk about Bollinger Bands and Keltner channels. They're basically the same thing, only one's a little bit faster and calculates different things. But hey guys, if you like the content today, please smash the like button for me and get in there and join the Discords. All those will be down in the description below. And please join the Patreon group, guys. It helps us a ton in doing what we do. Mikkel and them, them guys are freaking some kick-ass miners, and there's some kick-ass dudes. Those guys, get over there with them, watch Mining in the Dark. They also do Mining Monday podcast. There's all kinds of stuff on there. They got all kinds of behind-the-scenes stuff in their Patreon. They can show you how to make money, what to mine for a profit. They're awesome, guys. And definitely catch our live stream on Friday. We will be live this Friday. Talk with the guys, and maybe we can give away a script or something. But until Friday, guys, wash your hands, stay inside, join the Patreon group, and you guys have a good night, and I will see you Friday.